Then let us get back to the point. While I was investigating the fountain, I discovered something. I did not sense too much hatred towards me within its accumulated emotions. However, I did find some resentment directed towards Kiara. If I remember correctly, it seemed... I don't know what caused this to happen, but it seems like there won't be a shortcut to finding the organization that...
Oh! Didn't we read about that in one of the documents?
You've read about it? In that case, the resentment should have come from that incident.
Huh? What are you doing here? I was just about to look for you at the Palais Mermonia.
Navia! Nice to see you again! Is there something we can help with?
I've heard some things, but I'm not purposely asking around or anything. Don't worry. Rumors are abroad that someone's scheming against Melusines, and that you're investigating, so I told the Spina di Rosula to keep an eye out for leads. We've had unfamiliar faces showing themselves at the Fleuve Cendre lately. Maybe you'll find the suspects among them.
Thank you. Where did you hear about all this?
The Chief Justice out on investigation, accompanied by the Traveler from afar. No matter how you conceal your whereabouts, there will be countless eyes watching you. You talked to Kiara, but didn't ask her to keep things secret. People curious to know asked around for information, then it was only a matter of time before word of the threatening letter spread all across Fontaine.
So that's what Charlotte meant.
Indeed. I did not expect that this could be kept hidden for too long, but the rumors still spread faster.
You know, it could be because you attract more attention. Anyway, any progress with the...
The suspects who threatened Kiara might have to do with a certain smuggling case, but it is still uncertain if there is in fact enough. We are planning to return to the Palais Mermonia to revisit some details and identify the senders.
All right, then I'll round up the Spina di Rosula and follow up on their progress. Wait for my word. Ta-ta!
Neverlet, do you think there'll be any problems now?
I have already considered that possibility, and I do not think that there will be any. As a matter of fact, once the word gets out, what is more important is how the case is perceived by the public. 400 years ago, they chose to side with the old regime and direct their resentment towards the Melusines. I hope the same won't happen again. Let us head back to the Palais.
Strange. What are these people doing out on the streets so late at night? Did something happen? Let's take a look around.
Have you heard? Someone's plotting against a Melusine. This is 100% the truth. Even the Chief Justice is investigating in person.
What? That's it! Who's been threatening Melusines? Show yourself!
Our enemies are lurking in the shadows and won't easily reveal themselves. But no amount of hiding will keep us from finding them.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. The guards have already begun to take action. We can't just stand by and watch. Think about how much we owe them. Now that they're in danger, how can we just sit back and do nothing?
Everyone, please stay alert to your surroundings from now on. If you see any suspicious person,
It feels like you've been following me this whole time. Did something happen?
We were informed that. Nope. We just finished our shifts and happened to be strolling by.
Have you had dinner yet? Why don't we check out the new items at the dessert shop together?
This isn't a good time to be out and about. Come on, don't act tough. I bet you're hungry too.
All right, let's go buy a cake or something.
You shouldn't ever skip meals, especially if you have another shift scheduled for later.
I heard even Nervulette's keeping an eye on the situation. This is the perfect chance to get promoted. We gotta make sure we give it all we've got.
Seriously? Were you planning to shirk your duties if Nervulette wasn't involved?
Relax, I was just playing. We've worked together for years now. If something happened to them, I'd be haunted by...
That's more like it. We should stand guard until the criminal has been caught.
Come and fight me instead, you cowards!
Have you heard? Even the special patrol came to help.
Shh! Look! Is it that Nervulette? I think...
Looks like there's nothing to worry about.
This is truly wonderful.
So, wanna go over and say...
No, I should stay where I am. My appearance could give rise to unnecessary commotion. Let us stick to our plan and return to the Palais Mermonia. The faster we uncover the truth, the better.
All this reminds me...
What rumor?
I've heard that the emblem on our hats didn't always look like this. A long time ago, Melazines weren't a part of the design. The police emblem only included the scales. The emblem was redesigned later on to commemorate a Melazine's sacrifice.
That must have been a long time ago.
No one can stay hidden on...
I must keep the Melazine.
I just can't sit back and watch.
I must keep the Melazine safe.
I just can't sit back and...
The smuggling case was solved by the joint forces of the guards and the Maréchaussée Phantom. The list of involved suspects should be...
What does it say?
The principal offenders Domenico, Inica, Yuna, and others have been caught. They have been sent to the fortress of Merope. Those with close connections or mutual interests with the offenders but who did not participate in the case will not stand trial. Among them, surveillance of Essin has ceased on account of his good behavior. All other personnel remain on our watch.
So many names. Is the one who sent that threatening letter to Kiara?
Yes, there is something suspicious about Essin, to be precise. It seems like he's closely related to the core members of the smuggling case, and he moves around without much restriction.
Monsieur Nervalette, someone claiming to be from the Spina Durasula just checked in with us. He said, and I quote, "We have located the suspect. They're chatting at the..."
Huh? How did Navia find them so quickly? We've only just figured out the suspect's name!
I too am perplexed. The cafe isn't too far from here. We should...
As
Whoa. Check out all these people. Hey there.
These are the people who have had recent dealings at the Marechaussee Phantom. They're usually hidden in the Fleuve Cendre, but I sent for someone to invite them over.
Invite them over?
Exactly. Now, I heard there's great coffee here, and so I asked them if they'd like to come and have some.
Yeah, it's our pleasure to be guests of the Spina di Rosula.
I've wanted to have a meetup like this for ages.
Something, but... Oh well, let's get back to business. Is there anyone called Essa?
Yes, that's me.
You're Essa?
Yes, monsieur, Nervilette.
Did you write that threatening letter to Chiara?
I did, but I was just following orders.
Orders from whom?
Domenico. He was my boss. I couldn't disobey his orders.
Domenico? Where is he now?
The fortress of Meropide.
Well, I'm afraid even the Spina would have trouble looking into that place. Looks like you'll have to make the trip yourselves. This was as much as I could do.
You've done more than enough. I am extremely grateful for your help.
Leave the formalities for later. You should find Domenico first. If he really is the one setting up the conspiracy, it'd be best if he's exposed as soon as possible.
All right then, let's head to the fortress right now.
This coffee smells as good as ever.
Looks like no more free coffee for me.
Please escort the remaining guests back to the Fleuve Cendre. I appreciate your help.
Yes, boss.
That was a close call.
Are we really in the...
Where do you want to go next? If you'd like to see Liyue's tourist spots, I have a few references.
We once thought the fortress of Meropide would be super scary, but you've got a set schedule, guaranteed food and board, and you can even buy all kinds of stuff with credit coupons. It's really no surprise that many people don't even want to leave. Oh, you mean Risley? He's definitely a pretty impressive leader. Well, he does look kind of intimidating. He's actually pretty easy to talk to once. Paimon wonders how he's like with the people here. Do they also get the same guy we do, or is he a lot harsher with the Yeah, he must be doing something right to maintain order here. What?
Excuse me, did I hear someone there?
Huh? Paimon could have sworn...
Excuse me, is someone passing by? Could you do me a favor?
Nope, Paimon wasn't dreaming. There's someone over there for sure. But Paimon...
Oh, did you hear my call? Thank you so much.
You're inside the box? Oh, no. Why are you hiding in here anyway? If we hadn't happened to pass by, you could have been stuck.
It's a bit complicated. Can we not talk about that for now?
Whoa, that's terrible. Did someone see...
No, it was nothing quite that serious.
Just your hat? But then, why can't you... Wait, Paimon gets it! Something must have happened to your hair! Sorry. So that's what happened. Paimon gets it now. No wonder why. You just need your hat, right? We'll get it back to you right away!
I think you may have misunderstood me, but never mind. Please, it's a soft and brown hat with a bit of a brim. Nothing. I think I probably lost it near the entrance elevator. It was getting a bit hot, so I took it off and had a quick nap. But it's really important to me, so your help would mean...
Don't worry, we'll be back in no time! Paimon doesn't see anything here. Let's go somewhere else. Just where is that thing? Oh, this is taking longer than Paimon thought. Nothing in the water either. Paimon thought it might have... Oh, we've looked everywhere and still not seen anything that looks like a hat. That's a good idea. If he's just looking to cover... Why don't we check out the rag and bone shop? If memory serves, they've got all kinds of stuff in there. You let Paimon pick out some other stuff too, right? Well, either way, let's go check it out first.
One man's stone is another man's gem.
Paimon doesn't remember you being the boss.
Well, I'm just standing in for Mr. Alvar while he's off restocking the shop. Now, just wait a sec. A blonde foreigner dressed all in white. Well, you must be the legendary traveler and their companion.
No! Well, you're half right. Paimon's the traveler's treasured companion, sure, but she's not some flying chunk.
Sorry, I never thought I'd get the chance to see you with my own eyes. So, I hope you'll find it in your magnanimous hearts to forgive my discourtesy. I'm just a nobody, after all.
There's no need to put yourself down like that. Paimon's just...
Why, your heroic actions at Araneus have long made their way to the fortress of Meripede. We heard that you were personally received by His Grace when you made your way down here, you know. You were the envy of all, and you're one of His Grace's favorite people, so of course, everyone wants to be introduced to you. Well, I'd figure you'd appreciate it. After all, I also only joined up here because I'd heard Mr. Alvar was a good friend of the Duke. And though I've only caught scant sight of His Grace since then, as fate would have it, I've become... we've all got agendas, but rather than trying to force something to be true, it's often better...
Oh, so now you're trying to kiss up to us.
Well, I did mean it when I called you legends, and it is indeed an honor to meet the two of you. Oh, enough of that. Is there something you're looking for? No problem. Anything else? Hey, feel free to check out anything you want. The credit coupon.
Wait, but that's,
Well, it's not like I'm getting paid to watch this shop. Instead of more or coupons, Mr. Alvar usually lets me just take my pick of our goods. Life's been pretty good recently, so I might as well just waive your bill. Never hurts to make some friends.
all right. Paimon will take a look.
Are you sure you don't want more? These opportunities don't come by.
It's all right. 2 will do. It just doesn't feel the same if the owner's offering everything to... But anyway, we don't need to get into that right now. We can discuss Paimonology later. That poor guy must still be waiting for us. Thank you so much. Well,
No problem, and thank you for your patronage. I'd appreciate it if you could put in a nice word for us.
that's a real sneaky way of getting good reviews. We've been gone a while. Paimon hopes that guy in the box hasn't passed out from lack of air.
Welcome to the Fortress of Meripede, dear esteemed guests.
We're back! Oh, and a greeting from none other than the Duke himself! Guess we made a name for ourselves at this...
This isn't anything new. I figured you had important matters to discuss when the two of you, not to mention the Chief Justice, let's assume we've gone through the pleasantries and cut right to the chase. I do remember a thing or two about Domenico. He once attempted to round up the...
Who does this guy think he is? Paimon hopes nothing came of it.
He once attempted to, I said, meaning that it was over before it even started. And now he's threatening. To be honest, Domenico doesn't seem like much of a conspirator. The fact that the three of you bothered to personally investigate raises a flag. Is there something else?
He's got the same concerns we do.
I'm concerned about this incident because something similar has occurred in the past. I wish to meet Domenico in person and have my question. That's an easy one. Let me think. I think he's at...
Did I hear someone say Melusine? What happened? Sijuin! Yeah, and we're investigating. The person who threatened her seems to be imprisoned here. Really? Is Kiara gonna be okay?
There's no need to worry. Clarande is protecting her as we speak.
Well, that's great. But if the criminal's still... Is there anything you can do about this?
Ah, head nurse. Do you require me to...
Wriothesley.
Okay, I get it. I'll bring Domenico to you.
Think of it as more of a humble request. I'm here on my own accord, not to formally transfer a criminal for... Thanks for the trouble. Consider me in your debt.
Whoa! If Paimon were you here, Grace, Paimon would take this chance to ask for something real.
Well, were I still a criminal, I'd probably ask for a lighter sentence. But I'm sure Monsieur Neuvillette would reject that. But enough jokes. I'll look for Domenico and bring him to you. Make yourselves at home. Our dear head nurse has mentioned you quite a few times, so I'm sure she has a lot to say.
Please come with me to the infirmary. Ah, and watch your step. There's some pretty dark areas, so make sure you don't trip over anything.
Boats are made for transferring commodities back and forth, and those that come across Liyue tend to stay a while. So it is...
Now that I think about it, I can leave this place soon. Huh? I'm Oriel, a member of the Mutual Aid Network.
Please rest here for a moment. Oh, and would anyone like anything to drink? Paimon's not that thirsty, but thanks anyway. Thirst is a warning sign that you're dehydrated, which means you have to drink up even before... I'll bring you some tea. I'm sure you'll have a lot to talk about. Typical Seishuin. Concerned about everyone's health. Why aren't you two saying anything?
You noticed them too. The badges they wore on their chests looked quite
Familiar? Paimon didn't even realize they were... But if both of you say so, let's go ask them about it.
That's not a bad idea. I will stay here and wait for news. I place great trust in Wriothesley, so I rarely visit the fortress of Meripede. However, exceptional circumstances call for exceptional measures.
Anything you need? Oh, this? Are you interested in joining?
What's that?
We have a very long history, going back as far as 400 years. We have never had many members throughout our history, nor do we have much of a reputation, but everyone treats each other like family. Helping each other is our purpose. At the same time, we seek to maintain just dealings as much as possible.
Sounds like a pretty neat organization.
All we want is to defend ourselves. None of us have ever committed serious crimes, and we're not especially powerful either. We're at a natural disadvantage here in the fortress. But people won't give us a hard time if we stick together.
Interested in joining the Mutual Aid Network? If you'd like to learn more, here's our flyer. Our slogan may have evolved over the centuries, but our goal has remained unchanged. Here, this book is for you. You're welcome to come and sign up any...
You two look kind of familiar. It's the symbol of the Mutual Aid Network designed by our first. From what I've heard, it's based on something called a Medal of Peace. I've never seen one of those medals for myself, though. The first president of our network was an amazing person. Powerful as he was, he never used his strength against anyone. He encouraged the weaker criminals to stick together and look out for each other. All of us have a lot of respect for him.
We should have gathered enough information. Let's head back and talk to Neverland.
Did you manage to gather any intel?
The people who wore the badges belong to an organization called the... According to them, the badge's design was inspired by the Medal of...
I personally crafted 2 of them myself. They were awarded to Carol, and Carol's medal was destroyed in a fire. The only one that remained should belong to Vautrin.
Oh! So the network was inspired by...
Monsieur Neuvillette, His Grace has requested your presence in his office.
All right. Let us talk to him first and get...
Allow me to introduce this fine gentleman, Domenico. Why don't you explain everything to him?
Neuvillette? What do you want? What are you gonna do, kill me?
Calm down. I merely want to ask you a few questions. Was it your idea to send that letter to a Melusine? Hassan has already confessed, so there really isn't any need to...
That idiot! I can't believe I trusted him.
Let me ask this another way. It was your idea to send that letter.
Yes.
Who is pulling your string?
What? You're not trying to frame me for something I haven't done, are you?
It's best if you realize the gravity of your situation. The Chief Justice of Fontaine, I assume your previous attempt to incite unrest at the Fortress of Meripede has something to do with this as well.
I admit I acted on impulse. I'll tell you the truth. But before that, you mustn't...
I can do that.
You see, we're all reasonable people here.
I only intended to do some small business at first. Someone contacted me about delivering some goods and promised me a generous sum of more in return. After making a few trips, I was suddenly approached by the Marechaussee Phantom. They accused me of smuggling prohibited items, and I was put on... But I refused to accept any of that. The ignorant can be rightfully absolved from guilt, right? Well, I suspect that someone got me locked up here so they could get their hands on my goods.
And then you decided to take revenge on the Melusines? Over that?
My initial target was Neuvillette. Everyone in the Fortress of Meripede was declared guilty by him, after all. So they must more or less hold a grudge against him, right? If I could get them to strike... But for some reason, no one wanted to team up with me. That mutual aid network in particular. What did those nobodies even gain from trying to challenge me? Seriously. In the end, I had to redirect my focus onto Melusines to salvage things. I recall that Chiara was the one who confiscated my goods for inspection, so I asked one of the more approachable guards to send a letter, claiming that I meant to contact my family. But the letter was in fact addressed to Essa. I requested that he write a threat letter to Kiara and force her to resign from the Marechaussee Phantom.
Am I to assume that the claims you've made are your own thoughts? Have you been in contact with any suspicious people?
No.
Is it true that all members involved in the smuggling scandal have been caught?
Yes. And that's all I know.
Sijuin, please take him back to the detention center. I'll deal with him later. So, Monsieur Neuvillette, you were concerned that there might be a shadowy faction looking to capitalize on the delicate situation.
Yes. I experienced a similar incident in the past, so I had to be prepared.
And how long ago was this?
More than 400 years.
You might be overthinking this. Time can change a lot of things. Everything's...
What do you mean?
400 years ago, you and the Melazines you brought to Fontaine were the outliers in society. But in the present day, if someone were to threaten the safety of the Melazines, people wouldn't just sit back and do nothing.
That's right! We saw lots of people standing up for Melazines on our way back.
Monsieur Neuvillette, the Melazines are a species you introduced to Fontaine. How the public treats them is also reflective of their attitude towards you. When people refused to place their trust in Melazines, it was because they were still on the fence about you, their unfamiliar Chief Justice. For almost 500 years, you've conducted every trial with impartiality. You made the right judgment each time, regardless of whatever nonsense went on. People no longer have any reservations about you and even consider you a symbol of the law. Right now, your every decision will impact all of Fontaine. In other words, you've gradually transformed the whole...
Paimon gets it now. No wonder no one wanted to join forces with Domenico.
I am undeserving of such high compliments. From my perspective, it isn't anything special or worthy of praise. I'm simply fulfilling the promises I've made and searching for answers through my judgments. It is unnecessary to hold me in such high regard. The complexity of human emotions and willpower far exceed those of mine. As a matter of fact...
There's no need to be so modest. The current state of affairs says you're no longer that outsider you were before. Even if you wished to investigate something on your own, many would take the initiative to lend you a hand.
I must say that you've made a fair point. Thank you for clearing my doubts. Now that the case has been settled...
Huh? You're leaving?
And so soon, too? Why not stay for a cup of tea?
Thank you for the offer, but I know how this place... While some are here to redeem themselves, there will inevitably be those who harbor resentment towards me. The less time I spend here, the better. My presence could very well result in an unwanted disturbance.
In that case, I'll have to insist. I still have 2 more things to say.
Please, go ahead.
The first is about the guard who helped Domenico send that letter.
Ah, I know of what you speak. The guard was indeed deployed from the Palais Memoria's staff. However, as I mentioned earlier, I visited today on personal business. Therefore, I leave that matter in your hands.
Well, that makes things a lot easier. Hey now, don't let your imagination run wild. Those from up there have a tendency to sympathize with others. However, down here, such thoughts will put you... I'll have a chat with the guard and remind him to take precautions in the future.
I see no issues with that.
Great! That's one thing out of the way.
The other thing was born from my own sense of curiosity. Now, I've heard that you investigated the mutual aid network.
Yep. Neuvillette thought their badges looked familiar.
I noticed the small gang as well when I first took over the Fortress of Meripede. They were not great in number, but every member always made sure to stand up for what was right. I've looked into their founder, Vautrin, who once stood trial and was sentenced to imprisonment in the fortress. According to existing documentation, Vautrin remained disciplined throughout his imprisonment. He had never once engaged. In other words, how he presented himself in prison was very different from his behavior in court.
What? During his trial, I could sense that his feelings were complicated. He appeared to be full of resentment, and I believe he had every right to feel that way.
Perhaps he had been putting on an act.
An act?
Neuvillette and Vautrin had a close relationship as superior and subordinate. Vautrin must have known that the Chief Justice would make an impartial judgment. Thus, the more resentment he displayed, the clearer it would be to those present that you were upholding justice. And to those who had been sitting on the fence, Vautrin's act was a very meaningful... That's all from me. Does anyone else have anything to say? Now's your chance.
I don't have anything to say. Well then, let us head back. No need to see us off.
Please, take care.
That trial is something I rarely bring up in conversation, but I have always felt deep regret for what happened to both Carol and Vautrin. The words he spoke in court often replay in my mind, as if urging me on to do something.
But Risley said he never resented you, right? Isn't that a good thing?
I believe I now understand what he wanted to tell me. I feel conflicted about those words. How should I describe it? Surprise, relief, fear, and regret. But this blend of emotions has led me to finally understand some things. I would like to hear your thoughts, too. What do you think of me?
Paimon agrees with everything Risley said. As Chief Justice, every single one of your trials makes an impact on Fontaine. What do you, hey, any comments?
What I really think is... every trial you've ever judged has left its impression on you. And that's what makes you who you are today.
That is indeed a reasonable assumption. As I said, I find it difficult to express my emotions because I cannot fully understand myself. But I trust your judgment. Since some time ago, I have begun to notice the changes that have occurred upon my... These changes were not due to any specific occurrence, but emerged as a result. I will try to contemplate this further. Thank you both.
Oh, huh? It's raining! Oh no, Paimon forgot to bring an umbrella! Come on, let's hurry before it rains harder!
It's raining again? I've had enough of this weather.
There go my travel plans.
Did you read the news this morning? Quick, put away everything on the clothesline.
When is this rain going to stop?
Hydro Dragon, don't cry!
They're planning to reanimate the monster. We have to report this to the Chief Justice.
The Fortress of Meripede. It's a good place for me.
owes me so many answers.
Nervillette? You could say he's the real symbol of Fontaine's justice.
Watch him closely. He could be trouble.
How can two completely different species possibly coexist?
Who's been threatening Melusines? Show yourself!
You will see much in the human world, from the delightful to the depressing. And one day, when you have dwelt among humanity long enough, you will be placed to bring judgment over all as a spokesperson for Fontaine's past.
Good morning, Monsieur Neuvillette! The rainy season's almost over! The skies are supposed to clear in a few days!
I hope you find time to enjoy the sunny days ahead.
Is the matter resolved?
Yep, we found the person who sent that threatening letter. Risley said he'd keep a close eye on him, so the Melusines should be safe now.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Sorry for dragging you all into this.
There's no need to apologize.
Yeah, you didn't drag us in. We got involved of our own accord.
By the way, where's...
At the Palais Mermonia. More than 50 people offered to protect her. Some even hid within the bushes to look out for danger. I was worried that the excess of protection would make her feel uneasy, so I asked her to stay inside the Palais. It's very safe.
What a relief!
Well, now it looks like the dust has finally settled. To celebrate this joyous occasion, Monsieur Neuvillette, would you be in...
That's not how you celebrate!
I will consider it.
Really?
Of course. My schedule is full for the following weeks, but I should be available next month. Come up with questions during the intervening days, and I will answer them.
Yes! Thank you so much, Monsieur!
Now, if you'll excuse me, I must head back to the Palais and issue a communique to publicize our investigation results. I hope it will assuage the concerns of all.
Oh, an exclusive interview! Am I dreaming?
Oh, don't let anything hold you back. Make the most of...
I agree. He'll decline any question he can't answer anyway, so you might as well give all of them a shot.
Kiara?
Monsieur Neuvillette?
It's quite all right. I'm here to tell you that we have caught the sender of that threatening letter. You're safe now.
Thank you, Monsieur. And thank you too, Traveler and Big Sis Paimon. Everyone's been so nice to me, so I've always felt really safe.
Do you remember Domenico? He was the sender.
Let me think. I can't remember. By the way, I saw Carol in my dreams just now. Where's she gone? In my dream, she looked really happy. She held my hand and said, Kiara. I can't remember what our dreams were anymore, and I don't know why. But I felt really happy too.
I can sense your joy. It is indeed a delightful moment.
Monsieur Neuvillette, are you happy? Oh, I almost forgot. Am I allowed to go out now? I promised to model for Alov.
Of course. Off you go.
See you next time, Monsieur, Traveler, and Big Sis Paimon.
See you next time. I really can't fathom what goes on in her head sometimes.
Yeah.